I am Serena, and I have failed at YouTube more than once. And that's right. I have probably uploaded 500 plus videos since 2015 when I first started YouTube. And I've had multiple channels, deleted content multiple times. And this is the first time I've been the most consistent. I have a streaming channel that I've just gone past 2,000 subs for. Yes, it's just been about a year of constant streaming because it's a topical channel. It's all about it's not evergreen content. So it's all about me just having to be consistently streaming and talking about the sort of current events. But in terms of evergreen content, my goodness me, I have really not had the best time. So this video is about all the lessons I've learned from uploading vlogging kind of content, personal development content, business development content. What hasn't worked? Let's go. A lack of consistency. Oh, that C word. It is so true. I recall, so I had and I still have a channel called Life Vocabulary. I started it in 2015. It was initially insightful personal development content, became in 2016 and 2017 an interview channel to have conversations with creatives, musicians, and artists about the creative process and sort of personal development stories. And then I started doing longer form podcast conversations from my home studio and on my phone. And then life took a different turn. It took a 9 to 5, didn't have the space to continue to get to the monetization goal. It just didn't happen. And it's a shame because so much work went into that channel, and I had done a lot of collaborations and partnerships with other people and other creatives, and it just didn't work out. And so it's almost like, what do you call those love stories? You know, unrequited. Yeah, one of those that still, you never know. You never know. From time to time, I do a reaction to some music on it because it's kind of a little creative space for me on the tube. But let me just explain for sure the things that didn't work with that channel is that it just wasn't consistent. And the same for when I was initially vlogging on my personal channel, the same for when I was putting out yoga videos as a yoga teacher, not being consistent because I would get bothered by lots of people who had an issue with me teaching yoga online. That's a whole other conversation. And then that getting in the way of being consistent because the algorithm, and I don't think the algorithm is evil, I think it's just going to pick up on content that is viewed frequently and uploaded frequently. And there you go, you will get rewarded. Of course, there are those instances where people are paying for views and paying for subscribers and all of that stuff going on. We know it happens in music. So why wouldn't it happen on the tube? But I think I can confidently say from, all the content that I have consumed over the years and more recently from much more established YouTube accounts than I, and that is have valuable content that you upload frequently and you'll be rewarded over time, but you've got to do it over time. There's that over time bit, and not being consistent has just been my biggest downfall. It has been my biggest downfall. But now being consistent, I get it because you go through waves as a creator, and because I'm not just doing the one thing, it's sometimes a little bit challenging to keep focus. I actually find that the more things I have going on, the easier it is for me to focus. But going through waves in your life and sticking staying the course with this content creation journey is key. So just know that all the flux and the fluctuations that you experience in your personal and professional life, yes, will happen. Just don't let it get in the way of your one video per week, at least from what I've observed and what I've experienced so far. So consistency being the thing. The other thing that I for sure know didn't help me and contributed to my failure on YouTube was changing the theme, the subject matter, the style, the branding too often. I'm always tweaking. This is the thing. Maybe it's the writer in me, the creative in me. I'm always tweaking. And I see, oh no, need to change the name, need to change the hashtags. The focus has to be this. It's not working. I'm constantly like a little bit too agile, I find, where I'm spotting trends or I'm spotting what's working and what isn't. And I'm constantly doing a pivot instead of staying the course. So it's sort of part of consistency, but I think it's more about having confidence and trust in yourself and staying the course. So, yes, there's consistently uploading no matter what, but there's the bit about the style, the subject matter, the theme, the branding. At least give it 6 months, friend. And if you do tweak it, let it just be a tweak, not a complete change, as I've done in the past, where I'm like, right, I'm not vlogging anymore. I'm just doing a talking head. And then after a bit of talking head, I think I should let you in a little bit more and show you a bit of my life. And I do that after a day, and it's like, no, it's too painful. It just doesn't work for me, because you've got to get into that sort of creative frame of mind so that you can then make improvements each time you upload, so that you can see developments in your creation quality and as you publish each week. So I would say, just for your own development, purely stick to that one theme, subject, style, and see how you go. The third thing, I wish I'd known this sooner, but I think what I've done instead is still kind of working for me, because I've found a strategic through line. Serena, spit it out. Is merging interests on the one channel and not splitting and going on multiple channels. Now, yes, I have a media and politics commentary channel. Yes, I have my personal development channel, and I have my business channel. Here I talk about being in comms and media for more than 20 years. I'm a chartered public relations practitioner. I'm doing my postgrad in systems thinking and have lots of strategic nuggets of advice to give you, the creators, entrepreneurs, etc., etc. But I think there could have been a way for me to merge this with my media literacy and commentary channel, because I could have on occasion brought some of my strategic thinking into the commentary on real life, using real life case studies. I now have quite a sort of separation in style, only because I want this channel to be much more educational and focused. But I think there are instances where you don't have to split your sort of offering, you could merge them. And so I think that that's something that I could have done a little bit more of. Perhaps I also didn't really need to continue with my personal development, sort of my personal brand channel, and could have just put a little bit more of that into the community area on my YouTube channel, this one or the media commentary one, or bring in a little bit more of my personal story over here. I don't know. It felt easier to me to split them up, but I think that there are times when you can merge, and when you merge them, you have essentially more content, and it's more multi-layered and it's more interesting. I know I hear about this sort of like, make sure that you're providing value and then you're showing your personality and that you're editing well. That kind of trifecta is the thing. Trifecta, yeah, is the thing that actually keeps people engaged. And so if you bring a bit more of your personality, maybe you bring some of your personal insights to the table. So I think there are definitely opportunities to bring together your multiple interests, the different ways that you can communicate, different vehicles that you have in your life and in your repertoire to tell the story, to deliver the message for that one channel. And the last thing I would have to say is not obsessing over thumbnails, not obsessing over titles, not obsessing over them. has probably hurt me, because I think for a period of time I was like, no, it's fine. The content's just fine. I had this mindset where if people want me, they'll enjoy it. It's fine. It's like, I'm not established yet. They don't know who I am. So I kind of need to work a little bit more on the thumbnail. And I found that, just thinking a little bit about the thumbnail hasn't necessarily mean that I have super fancy thumbnails. It's just that I've opted for a clean, clearly sort of eye-catching way to grab attention. So thinking about it doesn't necessarily mean that you're now going to make it more complicated and complex. It just means that you're going to give it a little bit more thought. And I opted for something much more simpler rather than more fancy, if you get my drift. So thinking about those little things has helped me now. Not doing it before didn't help me. Should we go for number 5? Okay, worrying a little too much about my setup, my surroundings. Now I have a corner in my room that is so dedicated to all content creation on multiple channels, even when I go live on my Substack. And it's really important for me to have a no fuss, easy zone. I think that's more important than constantly having different fancy surroundings. And I could find that anywhere in my home. But when you share your home, as I do with my teenager, then I know that it's not always going to be possible for me to just kind of flow into content creation. And that's probably more important than having a fancy surrounding. If I constantly change up my surrounding and my environment and my setting, then the likelihood is that I'm not going to create as much, and the goal is to create more. So the priority was to have a spot where I can just jump on and create rather than having to constantly take the camera around and think about mic setup and all of that. It's just a little bit too much. I mean, I do have this really cool Holly Land remote Bluetooth mic that I use for my vertical short form videos to do on my phone, but I'm not going to add anything extra in terms of variation to my sort of recording process, only because then it'll get in the way of me actually creating content frequently and consistently enough. So I hope you appreciated this slightly different off-piste video about growing on YouTube and not making my mistakes. And I'm sure it's odd to some because I'm not a super established YouTuber and I'm giving you advice. That's because I'm telling you about what I know hasn't worked and what has been working for me as I'm growing again. I'm sure this helped. I hope it did. If not, my bad. Just ignore me. Go away now. Just let's not be friends, but let's please do stick around and subscribe. And I'll see you in the next one.